Okay, here we are. Okay, here we are this morning. I'm going to take another walk around, show you what I've been up to lately. It's been a while since I made a last video. There's obviously been other things I've been doing other than the boat, since I have the red boat as well, and been cleaning out the last of my storage facility as well. So let's take a walk around and I'll show you what I've been up to. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is down the after the boat on the ground. As you remember in the last video, I had finished the rudder. It's looking good. And here we have the aft rails that I made for the stern. And they've only got 2 feet on each side, which meant when they were set up on the boat, it actually was quite flexible and wobbled around a lot, and I really wasn't happy with that. I really wanted to have decided that I needed to have 3 feet in place. Now I could have modified these two and continued work on these and welded up some more, but there were a pair of stern rails that were available at Macotta's Marina second hand, which I purchased, and then required minor modification, less modification than if I had needed to weld these up and put new feet in and such. So let's go up on board the boat and I'll show you what I did. Climbing up a 15-foot ladder one-handed. It's always the safest thing to do, isn't it? Alright, so here we are. We have the stern rails in place. These are the ones I picked up. Much more sturdy, much more, just simply better than what I had before. And as you can see, they've got 3 feet, 1, 2, and a third one there. The only modification I had to carry out was the front foot, which went in at a 90-degree angle on the original boat. I cut them off, made them flat and straight, cut it to the right height to suit my boat. So now that's in place, and I was able to mount my cooker, a nice barbecue magma cooker there, and I mounted my horseshoe lifesaver bracket on there as well. And then over this side, as you can see, that's also mounted as well. It's all sealed in, and maybe a little bit of cleaning. Take the old tape that was still on there when I bought them. Some more tape there as well, but that will be done. Then what I did is I made up these safety lines for the stern. Again, this made my life a whole lot easier because I was going to have to make up loops and lines for the other 2 stern rails, and that was going to be more work than this, because these loops are already in place on the bracketry. So I was happy with that. So I just had to hand make these safety lines to go between them. Now, having done that, I also got stuck into the safety lines on the boat. Now I'll walk through this way first to the bow of the boat, but there's more room for me to show you what's going on, show you what I've done. And out here, you'll notice that there is a top safety line in place now. These are all custom made by me because I have a 10-ton hand swaging tool to swage these ends here. So that makes life very easy. But what I had to do is, I decided to go with custom stanchion posts. These are approximately 31 inches tall, which are taller than what you find on typical boats. And I had to hand drill the stainless steel and put in flared fittings into the ends as well. So I did that on all the poles as well, and they're all done. And I ran out of cable and a couple of end fittings, so I'm waiting for them to come in the mail, and then I can finish putting the safety lines in. Now you'll notice that most boats, if you have a look at the boat across there, 1 safety line, 2 safety lines, and that's typical what you find on the majority of boats. Notice again, 1, 2. Everywhere you'll look on in this yard, you'll see even the big boats in the background. 1, 2. They all got 2 safety lines. 1, 2, and so on. But I decided to go with 3. This is why I've got the top line is here, the top third, and then the bottom third. The gap between the safety lines is a lot smaller, and so to me is a bit safer. So that's what I've done there. Now when it came to the reinforcing bars at the entranceways, let's see if I can show that to you here. You'll notice I've got the diagonal pieces here put in, and these brackets here are purpose units for this type of pipe. Now to do that I had to remove the old brackets. I'll show you what they were. I've got them here still. Down in here. These are the old brackets. Now you'll notice, hang on, I need some light here. Here we go. No, we need more light. That's better. You'll notice that as a circular hole, which means just a little rod was used to push up against the pole. And I didn't have any rod, and I didn't have the top bracket to go from the rod to the stanchion post. So I decided to just pull the whole lot out and go with these Brimini frame pieces that I had already in stock, which meant filling the old holes from this with epoxy and then re-drilling fresh holes and rebedding these new brackets. So that was done as well. So that's what we've done on the outside of the boat so far. I am still working on, what can I show you? I think you've seen the deck box in its basically completed form. I'll show it to you once more though. That's it here. The deck box is done with the new hardware on it. Stainless steel hinge on the back. And it's got pneumatic rams on the lid, so when you lift the lid up it's very light. And I believe you also have seen the mizzenmast boom in place as well. I still have to put the mainmast boom in, which is sitting down there. That won't be done until after I've been up the bosun's chair, up my mainmast, which still needs the spreader lights replaced. And way up the top I have a jammed halyard which runs the head sail, so that has to be fixed as well. So before I go in the water I want to do that while I'm on steady land and there's no wind. Alright, so that's what's been happening on the outside of the boat. Now let's continue on. Breathe, Gary. Stop talking and not breathing. Still winter time here, still a bit cool. Here we go. Have to watch where I'm walking. Alright. Now, what can I show you here? Well, there's not much I can show you other than tell you, because it's all buried under panels and such. But in the aft section of the boat, let's see if I can show it here. I'll open this door. Let's see if I can see it. No, you can't. But right here is a brand new bilge switch. That runs the aft bilge pump, which is an entirely new assembly. Actually, now that we've got that going, I'm going to put a light on here. Just to give myself something extra to do. We can see better what's going on. How prepared am I? Ding, 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 ding. Normal service will return as soon as possible. I'm trying to put a plug in one-handed. Okay, that's not working. Okay, There we go. Now we've got some light in the engine room. Let me show you what's going on there. Okay, yeah, there you can see the new bilge pump switch. That's for the after bilge. Now, it's still a bit of a mess in here. I haven't done too much. We are still waiting for some batteries, which are supposed to sit here. I picked up 2 AGM batteries, one there and one up there. And right now I'm going to be working on setting them up as temporary 24 volt power for my system, so I can then work out all this spaghetti here that I have. And once the lithium batteries arrive, what I can do then is transfer the AGM batteries to the back corner over there, and they become my engine start batteries for this very pretty engine. That's the plan. Now, what I've done is I've run the wiring through. What I did was, when I put the new bilge pumps in and bilge pump switches and such, I just replaced the entire system and made it all brand new. Brand new wiring, brand new bracketry, pumps, the whole lot. And what that does now, that comes up into here, and I've put this fuse holder on here, which runs a 7.5 amp fuse for the 24 volt pump, which runs typically at 4.5 amps. So if there's an overdraw, 7.5 amps will blow. I didn't want to go with 10. I thought 10 amps would be too much, so I figured this was a happy medium here, 7.5 amps. So that there is the rear bilge, and the bottom one here is the forward bilge. So that's all wired in now, and I'll probably put a second one of them in for 12 volt system, because even though I'm putting 24 volt in this boat, I'm going to be stuck with having to run some 12 volt, because the the water pumps for the sinks and the taps and the hoses and such are all 12 volt. So I'm going to have a 24 volt to 12 volt inverter, which I'll show you in a minute. That will also mount probably down here. But again, all this spaghetti I'm going to have to deal with, work it out, rewire it, pull out a bunch that I don't need, and make it a whole lot neater than what I've got now. Because honestly, that is a god-awful mess. I don't like god-awful messes. Oh, the other thing I've done is I've put in this for the raw water intake for the engine. This is a filter thing here. It's quite a large size, as you can see from my hand, and it's easy access for me to undo and clean it out. The filter strainer is there, and I've got my fresh pump that's sitting there, not pump, you know what I mean. So that's there as well. Now, the other thing that I've had run into an issue is this exhaust. As you can see, it goes quite high, and that should feed to stop water from coming backwards into the engine. But I'm not happy with this, because the top of this loop is no higher than the exhaust hose, which is behind here, that runs to the aft of the boat and out as the exhaust. And because of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to remanufacture this. This is all stainless steel, and then I wrapped it in heat resistant cloth. I'm going to have to recut it here, thump, and I'm going to have to set up some more of this stuff going from here right across there, and I'm going to elevate this whole piece. Is going to go up inside there, right up behind there, so it's nice and high, no chance of water coming backwards through the system and flooding the engine. That's the plan there. That's the exhaust fan for engine room gases. I've yet to connect the hoses up. That's coming in as well. So there's all that. Now, the second bilge that I was speaking of is underneath the floor here, right down on top of the area where the keel is. So it's in quite deep and is my backup pump. I may end up putting a third pump in somewhere along the line, but right now I have what have I got? I think I have 4,000 gallons an hour of pumping capacity. I would like more, so there's that as well. Alright, so The boat is filling with junk because when you clean out a storage building and you have more stuff than you know what to do with, it ends up going everywhere. So I'm going to be cleaning this up in the next couple of days. The V-berth is filling up with crap, and yeah, things have been busy here. Things take longer than you expect when you're working on a boat for some reason. Don't know how that could possibly be. Oh, here's the second bilge pump switch. I put it right here underneath the steps. That's mounted, it's wired up, it's done. So that's been done as well. Alright, so that I think is basically it. You've seen the new microwave / air frying convection oven that I bought, all in one unit, which is brilliant as far as I'm concerned. So you don't need to have a separate air frying oven to your microwave. So that's going to be good once I get rid of this fridge and I'm on the water, and I can use the fridge freezer that I've got set up under here. This capacity of this unit is far larger than this little unit here, even though this does quite well for one person. Now I've been thinking, this area here, I want to get rid of the navigation table. It's not really necessary. You don't use navigation charts as often as you did back in the 70s when this boat was built. And if I do need to spread out a navigation chart, there is a bigger table on board the boat, and that's here on the wall here. This is actually a half table. It folds out from the wall and then it doubles over in that direction. So in essence, you've got a very large flat area, and if you want to do some navigation work on an actual chart, I can't see any reason why that wouldn't do just as well, considering the amount of times you would actually do it. So what do we do with this area here? This takes away this entire seat area here, and there's a gap right through to there, right up to this back wall there. And then I'd have a little tabletop here. You'd still have access to this storage in there. Now I've been thinking about this, and if this being an ocean going cruiser, what's something that you can really use on a boat this big when you're living on it? A washing machine. So I'm thinking a ruddy great big front loading washing machine would be a brilliant idea here. That's my thought on the subject, and I haven't decided on doing that yet, but it's something that I would seriously consider. So there's that as well. Back up here, in the forward V-berth area, I'll see if I can show it to you. Probably not. Nope, I can't. It's all buried in here amongst all the junk. Underneath here, I have now got all my canvas and my isinglass zippers. Now, I'm going to show you some zippers. This is some of the zippers. Big reel of zippers for doing not only the Bimini and Dodger and sail covers, but I've bought 40 yards of dark red burgundy to do the cushions. All the cushions are going to go dark red. So there's that as well. And here's the sewing machine to do it with. So I have that too. And oh yes, and the other thing that I've done, let's have a look in here. This is what else I've done since the last video. We now have got LED light system in the head, and it needs a cleaning. Yes, it does. The heads always need cleaning. The aft head hasn't been done yet, but I've also put the LED light in here as well. That's been connected up, and I have yet to replace this light, which is going to have a new LED unit put in. This unit here, I'm hoping it's 24 volts, but I'm probably going to run it on 12 volts. With that in mind, that's the other thing I wanted to show you. Come back over here. We have, sitting in this box, a 40 amp, 490 watt, 24 volt to 12 volt inverter. So that will be specifically for the systems that will continue to run 12 volt. And being 40 amps, the water pumps themselves run at about 4 amps. And I only have 3 of them on board the boat. So even if all 3 of them are running, that's only 12 amps of this 40 amp system. So the whatever lighting that I have on the mast and such, that's still running 12 volt, which shouldn't be because I'm converting it to 24. Whatever system needs to run at 12 volt, there'll be plenty of capacity in this unit to do that job. That will mount in the engine room as well through those 4 holes. Alright, so that's it for now. I've got to go through all this junk, sort out what I don't want, dispose of a lot of crap. We're now getting down to the position where I can start deciding what I don't want to work on the boat with anymore. Things that I can take off the boat and leave off the boat and clean this bugger up. Alrighty, so that's it for now. I'll make another video and whenever. And the boat is getting much closer than I suspected. A lot quicker. I'm happy about that. We will talk again. See you later.